Hey everyone, Kyle here from Knic-Co Alaska, and tonight my wife and I are winter camping. We're going to set up a tent with a wood stove to keep warm throughout the night. If you've never winter camped, this is the video for you. We'll show you the basics on how to set up a wood stove for the first time, as well as how to set up a big winter tent. Feel free to leave a comment or a question below. Winter camping can be intimidating, but I hope this video shows you that there's an easy way of doing it comfortably. So I'm going to take my shovel and dig out a spot to set up the wood stove. We haven't burned in it yet. The rule of thumb for new wood stoves is to do a first burn outside. This removes the moisture from any paints and it eliminates any chemical smell that you might get in the first couple hours of burning. I'm going to show you how to put together a Knic-Co Alaskan portable wood stove. First thing, which is notable, it fits well in the Alaskan suitcase. This is the second largest model they have in this configuration. So you have the feet on the bottom. They both flip out like that, and then it's ready to be stood up. Notably, all the edges on this are pretty sharp, so I'm gonna keep using gloves while I set it up. To be efficient while you're transporting, you use the internal volume of this to store things. I brought a canvas cloth so that I can lay it down on top of the snow. We got some matches. I've added a couple things extra to the box. Gloves that I had kicking around at the house. We have the damper that goes inside, and then we have the actual pipe itself. The pipe comes in multiple sections so that it can be of the same length as the stove. I found the internal volume of the stovepipe pretty helpful. In transport, we can bring a couple of pieces of dry kindling. You want to try to limit as much snow as you possibly can on any piece of wood that you plan to burn, because that's just gonna make things inefficient. So bash all the snow off, and then I'm gonna use this blanket to keep my wood nice and dry and out of the snow. And I'll put my kindling over there as well. The stovepipe goes together for transporting like a Russian nesting doll. You pull the bottom piece out, which is the largest diameter pipe, and that's gonna go right into the stove here. And you should be able to push that down such that you'll see these ridges right here disappear, and it'll sit nice and flush in the stove. Every piece after that, you work your way down. So I'm gonna pull this one out, and that goes on top of that one. Sometimes you'll notice that when you get these, they're not perfectly round. Instead, they're slightly oval shaped. So you're gonna have to take that into consideration when you're putting the pipes together. They'll fit better in the same orientation in which they came in originally. More times than not, you'll find that if you line the seams up of the pipes together in a big straight line, they'll go together really smoothly. One thing that I almost forgot to do was put in the damper. Here's the damper. It's got this little arm here with a spring on it. To insert this into the pipe, you're gonna have to take the spring off first. You'll see the arm here, and then it's got this little nipple on the other side. And those two things will line up with the holes here and here on the bottom section of the pipe. To assemble this, you wanna put arm in first, like this, and then look from the other side. And as you rotate that arm into the hole, you keep rotating the disc until the arm sticks out fully. On the other side, you'll have to give it a little bit of force to line that extra piece, that little nipple up, and it'll pop out of the hole right there. From there, you can see how this works on the inside. You pull the lever and it opens and closes the pipe. Once that's done, you can add the spring back, and that section is ready to go. So then we just build this up piece by piece. As you come up to the last two pieces, I would suggest stopping and putting together the spark arrestor. That'll allow you to not have to reach so high. This is the spark arrestor. It stores like that, but when you deploy it, you want this piece down like that. and it sticks in the top and should look like that after it's complete. So you put this together here, lining up the seams. And then we'll put this all the way up top. So you'll notice this is pretty flimsy right here, right? Well, that's because it's not meant to be built together and just freestanding like this. The top section of this pipe will be supported by the tent, and the tent will have a cutout in it so that this pipe will go right through it. And in this case, this is a 5-inch diameter pipe, and I have a tent that has a 5-inch diameter cutout. So you'll want to match the pipe to your tent cutout. And you can get pieces like this at a hardware store to help bridge that gap if you have a 4-inch and it needs to match a 5-inch or vice versa. Ideally, you have the same size pipe as your tent does. For this burn, we're not going to leave the full pipe all the way up. We're just going to put a couple segments in it just to get it going with the chimney effect. And just lay these down over here. Remember when we were looking at the damper and how that it's a disc with an arm sticking off of it? The direction in the arm is aligning you to which direction the disc is sitting. So in this position, the disc is vertical and therefore should be free flowing. If it's horizontal like that, the disc is sitting like this, dampening the outflow. Let's see if we can get this thing started. Shall we read the classifieds from 2012? Wow, look at the vehicle prices. You can get a Dodge Ram 2500 4x4 for $30,000.
$30,000?
Brand new.
Lots of smoke.
Yeah. I brought kindling. Stores it right. So we got a little bit of a fire starting, and the first thing I'm noticing, we got some fire blowing out the top, which is kind of cool. And the stove is turning colors. Honestly, every used stove I've seen of these has looked very rusty and dark. And I was surprised when I opened the box how clean and shiny stainless steel like it looked. All right, I'm gonna keep feeding this for another hour or so, and that should get it through its initial burn. Meanwhile, I'm going to start clearing a footprint for the tent we're gonna set up, and that's where we'll sleep tonight. This was some soft, fluffy snow, so we were imagining inside the tent, walking on top of it was going to be really weird, almost like walking in very loose sand. So we decided that we were going to shovel all the way down to the ground. Having lived in it for a night, this was a good idea. The tent that we're going to be testing out is the ultimate Alaknak. It's a 12-foot by 12-foot tent that is wood stove ready. We have the tent portion, which is actually quite light for its size, and it's got this nice carrying bag. And then this box presumably is all the poles, and this is definitely the heavy part. These are the sidewall corners, and then maybe one in the middle. And then this feels like stakes and a bunch of other stuff. These stakes, these are super heavy duty. But this is a whole bag full of them. There's probably 24 or so in there. Really hefty. This is probably 10 or 15 pounds at least. And then you have all these pieces of rope to help tighten things down, and we'll see what those are used for in a second. It's like there's a couple of different size poles in here. These look like the poles that hold the wall up. This is supposed to be a vertical wall tent, which means when you're inside it, it shouldn't be caving in on you a little bit. The wall should be vertical on the sides, give you more space footprint wise. Then we have some bigger poles here. These are presumably poles that go up the center. They have a little tension cord inside it that holds them together. It's pretty tall once you put it together, but you know, that's the center of the tent and everything falls down from that. So we got a couple more poles in here. These also have cables inside connecting them, and looks like they're all connected in this shape here. Possibly that's the door frame. We will find out soon.
It's always interesting rolling out a tent for the first time. You spend most of your time just looking for the door. Where is the door?
You'll be able to locate which side the door is on by looking at the logo on the tent. The graphic is right next to the door. I want to rotate this one around because I want the door over there. This is going to be easier. The wall poles have a male and female end, and opposite on the tent, so it's kind of self-explanatory. It's easier to put the top of the pole in first and then put the pin in the bottom. At least that's my experience with the first one. And along with the two ends being secure on the tent, there's this Velcro on the side of the wall that will be used to hold the pole close to the tent in its midpoint. I was gonna say, we have two left, and it's kind of inefficient too.
There isn't much to the doorway. They sell a separate vestibule. It's probably worth it if you think you're going to be in the rain or the snow.
The instructions have you using these ropes to tie down each one of the legs of the wall so that you can stand them up and hold them in place. We're in 3-something feet of snow, and so putting stakes down is going to be a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these off to trees that are surrounding me. Luckily, I brought some additional cord with me because I knew setting up in the snow was going to be a little bit interesting. I'm going to add some lengths to some of these tie downs so that I can reach further to the next tree, so that way I can pull the tent in the appropriate directions instead of having it all kind of cattywampus. Tied 2 on this tree.
The best knot for camping is the taut line hitch knot. If you don't know that one, give it a try. That tent's starting to look a lot like a tent.
That ain't cold.
Climbing under this tent reminded me a lot of middle school gym class when we used to play with the big parachutes.
All right, we're getting closer. All right, now I'm going to do my walk around and tighten everything up and make sure that all the walls are vertical and not leaning in a direction. So with these legs kicking in like this, that's totally what those stakes are for. So we can go around and try to stake in every corner. Let's see what it looks like inside. got the brief holders. 4 of them. We got this flap that you zip out. And this is where the wood stove sits. And we'll bring that in right now and install it. This flap right here on the outside will open up and fold over, and the pipe will go right through here. I shouldn't have put this in the snow. So now that we have everything mounted up inside, and we add the last remaining piece to everything here, just like so.
I wanted to chop some firewood for the night before night fell. I made a healthy stack of chopped wood before we went out for dinner.
$20 out. We just got back from dinner. We're gonna see if we can get some heat to this tent.
That's right, Ruby. Blow on the fire.
All right, so I got this side attachment for the stove. Knic-Co makes a water reservoir with a spigot, and it sits on the side on these grooves here, and it lays right there. So we're gonna put some water in it and heat up some water for some tea before bed, and then whatever's left over we'll put in a water bottle to make a hot water bottle, and that can go in our sleeping bag.
Alright guys, so we have the wood stove damped down a little bit, and the tent is sitting at about 50 degrees. It's pretty comfortable in here. Sometimes it'll ramp up to 60 or above. This is a 12 foot by 12 foot tent with no ability to hang anything. Pretty disappointed about that.
The stovepipe gets broken down the same way it was put together, except for this time there's all sorts of gunk on the inside. Maybe it'd be nice to have a little scraper in the kit, so when you're cleaning up you can just scrape each time. And then the spark arrestor is deployed like that and is stored like that, so it slides right into the top of the pipe.
And then we'll pack that out with the sleds.
We got Tristan in here sweeping the floor out.
She can sweep it right into the stove trapdoor on the floor. And then afterwards she'll zip it up, and floor should be pretty clean.
With a tent this size and how much it snowed on us, it's pretty much impossible to put this away dry. So what we're gonna have to do is lay it all out in the garage at home and dry everything out before we wrap it up and put it away for a while. We do that with all our gear just to make sure it goes to storage dry and ready to go for the next round. So I'm just gonna ball this up.
If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and check out the YouTube channel, Knic-Co Alaska.
Pretty quick.
See you on the trail.